Hello, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. Sit down, please. I'd like to speak English today too, to improve my speaking skill. Let's get it started. Today, it is May 1st, 2023. It's on Monday and sunny outside. How are you spending Monday today? Are you enjoying a golden week? Are you enjoying a golden week? Golden week are a series of holidays starting from end of April and to early May. Do you have a day off today or work or school? It depends on your schedule. So today it is the first day of May. I feel the time passing so fast since the new year came, 2023. Do you feel the same? Do you feel the time passing so fast? It is said the more we get older, the faster we feel the time passing. I try not to be involved in confrontational people. I try to not to be involved in confrontational people. I'd like to avoid such confrontational situation with them. Confrontational. When my excuse is rejected, I sometimes become confrontational in order to prove that my excuse. I've got over some confrontational situations. I've overcome some confrontational situations. Confrontational attitude of the employee. But we should be bold and confrontational from time to time to go for it. Otherwise, the chance might not come again. We should be bold and confrontational sometimes to go for it because the chance will not come again. Might not come again. The confrontational attitude of the employee comes from his confidence that he did work very hard in order to become full-time worker in the company. Guess where my confrontational attitude coming from? Confrontational. Confrontational attitude, confrontational mood. Confrontational tendency, confrontational feature of the people. confrontational feature of the people. Confrontational. Confrontational attitude of the employee made him unpopular among colleagues, co-workers. Confrontational. He never became confrontational and kept calmness. He never became confrontational. He always kept calmness, stayed calm, held calm, remained calm. He never became confrontational, even if the opponent became confrontational against him. He kept calmness to the confrontational customers. The staff kept calm and responded to the confrontational customers with politeness. Confrontational. Confrontational. The confrontational attitude of the challenger made the champion so angry at the press conference, ending up stopping the press conference. The confrontational attitude and comments from the challenger made the champion angry at the press conference, which was about to fight on the spot, but it was stopped by the bodyguards. What do you think of compulsory education of Japan? In the compulsory education, we have to go up to junior high school. Whether or not we go to high school is dependent on us. We can choose whether we should go to high school, but we have to go up to junior high school in the current compulsory education. Compulsory, mandatory, obligatory, compulsory subjects. At my university, we had to take some compulsory subjects which are not related to my major. In my university, there were some compulsory subjects which were not related to my major, such as, I forgot, but some literature subjects, such as biology and so on. Biology, English, and so on. English is related, I think. Compulsory. Which compulsory subject did you have to get in order to graduate from university? Compulsory subjects. Compulsory subjects need to be taken to earn the credits enough to graduate from university. We needed to earn a lot of enough credits by passing some examinations of the compulsory subjects or selective subjects. There are both compulsory and selective subjects. Compulsory subjects need to be taken. Otherwise, we cannot graduate. Selective subjects can be taken or not. depending on our schedule, depending on our number of credits. Compulsory subjects. We are tired of the endless controversy between the couple. I saw endless controversy between the couple on the street. Controversy. Some of the controversies can be solved by money. The controversial problems were solved by the charismatic politicians. Controversial problems, controversial awesome tools. Controversial problems, controversial attitude of the employees, controversial way of receptioning, controversial attitude of the receptionist, controversial attitude of the staff, controversial and the most difficult duty in this year. Controversial case, controversial flaws in the product. Unhealthy lifestyle will undermine our health. Drinking too much alcohol will also undermine our health. No exercising will undermine our health too. Careless comments at the meeting will undermine your career, your position. Crude comments might undermine your position. The notorious bear will undermine the status of the position, of the profession. The newly enacted law has definitely undermined the status of the occupation, profession. The newly enacted law in 2018 definitely undermined the status of the occupation, profession. I really want the freedom. Freedom might lie in the dream when we are sleeping. Freedom might exist in a dream while we are sleeping. Freedom. What is the definition of freedom? What is the definition of freedom? Freedom. Freedom from hospitalization. Freedom from the hospital. Freedom from the hospital. Freedom from the hospital. Freedom might be only the way to coming up with ingenious ideas. Awesome ideas, I think, will come from freedom. Reversely, awesome ideas might not come out from obligation or bond situations. Freedom. I want freedom. Freedom from the hospital. I experienced some freedom from the hospitalization. Which means I went through some hospitalizations in the past. Please feel free to help yourself to the snacks and drinks and sweets on the table while waiting. Please feel free to ask me if you have any questions. Please feel free to ask me any questions if you have ones. Please feel free to ask any questions. Please feel free to help yourself to drinks and snacks and sweets on the table while waiting. Can I feel free to use the cutleries, plates and pots in the cabinet? Sure. But please do not forget to wash them after using. Can I feel free to use the dishes stored in the cabinet? Sure, but don't forget to wash them after the using. Free me from obligation. Free me from obligation. Free me. I will be freed at 5 o'clock today. Many salaried workers will be freed at 5 or 6 o'clock p.m., which means after the work. I was freed from the hospital. I was freed from the hospital. Free me from anxiety. Clear me of anxiety. Clear me of anxiety. Deprive me of anxiety. Wrap me of anxiety, hardness, and suffering. More money will free us. The retirement from the company freed me, but at the same time I started to feel anxiety, thinking about my future. Can I use dishes stored in the cabinet? Sure, you can use them freely, but don't forget to wash them after using. Can I go out of the hotel? Sure, you can go out and in freely, but there is a curfew at 11 o'clock p.m. After that time, please insert the passwords to the machine attached on the door, and you can enter. Thank you. Excuse me, can I go out and in freely? Sure, but there is a curfew at 11 o'clock p.m. After that time, please insert the passwords on the machine attached to the door. Thank you. Freely, 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 freely. The best thing that I can do during the travel alone is that I can choose where to go freely. The thing the best thing that I can have in traveling alone is that I can choose where to go, what to eat, where to stay freely. All of the classmates united to make a 1,000 cranes, a bunch of 1,000 cranes for my disease. It was sent to me during my hospitalization. All of the classmates united in order to create a series of 1,000 cranes for me. All of the classmates create a series of 1,000 cranes, paper cranes, which is usually sent to someone in air to pray for the quick recovery and to console the sadness of the people with ear like me. The three villages united in order to help each other. The two villages were merged into a bigger one in order to get through difficulties by helping each other. The baseball team united again at the risk of losing by one point by gathering and calling out their famous phrase in the center. The baseball players united again at the risk of losing 1 point. The baseball players gathered in the center and united again in order to get through the risk of losing 1 point. The baseball player gathered in the center and united again in order to get through the risk of losing 1 or 2 points. All of the members of the team united to achieve the same goal. All of the members of the team united to aim at the championship of the tournament. All of the members of the team united in order to achieve the same goal, winning the tournament. All of the members of the team united in order to achieve the same goal, winning the championship. The coach of the team united the members in order to make the harmony, which will affect the movement of each player. The two villages were merged into one in order to support each other. The two villages were united in order to get through difficulties by supporting each other. The coach of the team united the members at the risk of losing 2 points on the game. The coach united the team again in order to get through the difficulty at the risk of losing 2 points in the game. The teacher united all of the classmates in order to create a series of 1,000 paper cranes for me. The teacher united the classmates in order to create a bunch of 1,000 paper cranes, which was sent to me while I was ill and in hospital. The teacher united the classmates in order to create a bunch of 1,000 paper cranes, which was sent to me while I was in a hospital. A bunch of 1,000 paper cranes, a series of 1,000 paper cranes is a symbolization of pray for quick recovery from illness, and which is sent to people suffering from illness in hospital or at home. I'm not good at uniting a team. Those who are good at uniting a team should be a leader. The two villages were united in order to support each other in the difficult situations. The two cities were united in order to get through difficulties and support each other. Mm. The two villages were united in order to get through difficulties and support each other. The baseball team were united by gathering in the center at the risk of losing 2 points, which might have been the grand slam home run by opponents. The baseball team were united again by the direction from the coach by gathering to the center, in the center, at the risk of losing 2 scores from opponents, which might have been grand slam home run. All of the employees of the store were united again in order to deal with piles of tasks, a pile of tasks, a heap of tasks, a heap of tasks. Unity of all of the employees might be impossible, but making them have the same purpose might be possible. Unity of the way of thinking in the big companies might be impossible, but making them have the same purpose might be possible. Unity of all of the shops. I like the shopping mall because it is a kind of the unity of many shops, many selections to choose from from many goods, merchandises, products. Unity. Unity of school uniforms. There are always a couple of students who violate the rule of school uniforms. There are always a couple of students who violate the rules of school uniforms. There are always a couple of students who violate the school uniform criteria. There are always a couple of students who violate the criteria of school uniform. So the unity of what to wear might be impossible. Unity of what to wear for schools or companies might be impossible. Unity. Unity of way of thinking. Unity of school uniforms. Unity of hairstyle. Unity of what to do when a particular thing happens. Unity of the procedure if a particular thing happens would be a good way to deal with that. The unity of the procedure to deal with a particular problem in all of the shops. Unity of the procedure when a particular thing happens. Unity. Unity. Unity of the start time of the examination across the country was conducted. Unity of the time for the examination. Unity of the starting time of the examination was decided. The unity of the starting time of the examination across the country was adopted in order to prevent students from releasing the information of the contents of the examinations. Unity. Unity consisting of many shops. Shopping mall is the unity consisting of many shops, many kinds of merchandises, which is very attractive to me as well as you. The machine can produce 100 units of the product per day. If a person produces the 1 unit of the product, it takes 3 days. But the machine can produce 100 units of the product per day. If it is done by a human, it will take 2 months. 2 months. 2 months. Unit. Two units. How many units do you want? 2 units. The machine can produce 300 units of product per day. The machine can produces 200 units of the product while I'm producing a tenth of it at the same time. I saw a unit of deer on the road. I saw a cluck of deer. I saw a cluck of deer. I saw a unit of deer on the road. How much is 1 unit? How much is 1 unit? How long does it take to produce a unit of the product? How long does it take to produce 100 units of the product? I'd like to copy 500 units of the A4 paper. How long does it take? I'd like to copy 500 units of the paper. 500 units of the document, A4 document. How long will it take? I'd like to copy 500 units of the A4 paper. How long will it take? I used to take many preliminary examinations before center test. I used to take many preliminary examinations before the test, center test. Preliminary preparation is set to decide about 60% of the success of the tour. It is said that enough preliminary preparation decides about 60% of the success of the tour. So you can know how the preliminary preparation is very important. Previous preparation, preliminary preparation, preliminary examination, preliminary preparation. I usually have enough or too much preliminary preparation before my performance because I'm too nervous. I'm too nervous oriented. Preliminary. Preliminary tire, food, drinks. Let's bring some preliminary food and drink just in case. We might lose our way on the way. We might lose our way in the middle of the mountain. Preliminary. Preliminary preparation, preliminary tour of the same routes as we take in the tour. Preliminary simulation of the tour by going to the same destinations, taking the same route before the tour. Preliminary. 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 If preliminary stretch and warming up is not enough, you might get injured. The person getting injured is a typical example of a lack of preliminary warming up and preparation. The person getting injured is a typical example of a want of preliminary preparation. Preliminary. 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 Preliminary tire. Preliminary tire. Just in case. Preliminary tire. Just in case. I usually bring preliminary money just in case. I usually bring preliminary budget to my travel. I think many of you do the same, use the same strategy. I, as well as you, bring preliminary budget for the trip. Preliminary competition. Preliminary competition. Preliminary competition. In order to participate in the official tournament, you need to come within the third in the preliminary competition. Preliminary competition in 47 prefectures, aiming for appearing in the official national tournament. In order to taking part in the national tournament, you need to come within third in the preliminary competition. If you want to participate in the national tournament, you have to come within third in the preliminary district tournament. Preliminary examination, preliminary competition. It's nothing if I lose in the preliminary competition. It's nothing if I lose in the preliminary competition. Preliminary. To everyone's surprise, the team said to be the strongest in the region lost in the preliminary. To everyone's surprise, the team said to be the strongest in the prefecture lost in the preliminary competition, meaning they lost the ticket to participating in the national tournament. Preparatory importance. Preparatory I'm still under preparatory phase. We might be forever under preparatory situation phase. Preparatory phase. Some restaurants adopt preparatory time after lunch and before dinner time. Some restaurants adopt preparatory time after lunchtime until before the dinner time. Some stores, restaurants, or clinics or other facilities adopt preparatory time after lunch and until before dinner time. The restaurant adopts preparatory time between 2:30 until 5 o'clock p.m. Preparatory duration. Preparatory importance. Preparatory phase. Preparatory procedure. The more I experienced the duty, the better my preparation became. The more I experienced the preparation, the faster the preparatory time became. Preparatory. The more I experienced, the faster the preparatory time became. Preparatory. The more I experienced, the faster The preparatory time became preparatory, 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 preparatory. I was told from the agent that I should be all of the things I don't know should be cleared during the preparatory phase before the operation. I was educated to make everything clear that I don't know until by the operation. I was told, educated to make everything clear, make everything that I don't know clear during the preparatory phase. Preparatory, preparatory, preparatory. I usually prepare enough before my operation, performance, duty, and so on, because I'm too nervous oriented. I'm too nervous. I'm so nervous, so I prepare a lot. Whenever I remember a pile of tasks on my desk, I get depressed. Whenever I look back on my childhood, I cannot remember it without getting depressed. What are you preparing? I'm preparing my thesis. I'm preparing my duty tomorrow. I usually have to prepare my duty the day before. I usually have to prepare my duty the day before or 2 days before. I think many Japanese people are used to preparing their houses for typhoon because it comes. Typhoon strikes Japan every year, every typhoon season. Usually after summer. The restaurants adopt preparation time, preparatory time after lunchtime. The restaurants are in preparation from 3 o'clock p.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. The restaurant will be in preparation. The restaurants adopt preparatory time from 2:30 to 5 o'clock. Preparation. The restaurants are now in preparation. The restaurant is in preparation now. The restaurant is now in preparation. So we cannot have a lunch there. So let's search for another one. During my drive, please find one. The restaurant will be in preparation, so we cannot have a lunch there. So please search for another place while I'm driving. While the restaurant is in preparation, we killed our time at the shopping mall. And while While the all-you-can-eat restaurant is in preparation, we killed our time in shopping mall to get more hungry so that we could eat more. While the all-you-can-eat restaurant was in preparation, we killed our time in a shopping mall to make us even hungrier, so that we could eat more food. Since the all-you-can-eat restaurant was in preparation, we killed our time at the beach to get hungrier, so that we could eat more at all-you-can-eat restaurant. Until when are you in preparation for your performance? Until when? When are you in preparation until? It's like forever. When are you in preparation until? The board in front of the shop. The board in front of the shops read in preparation. The board in front of the shop read sold out. The board in front of the shop read in preparation. The board in front of the shop read in preparation. In preparation. The board in front of the shop read in preparation. In preparation. The board in front of the shop read in preparation. Let's see if the restaurant is now in preparation. If not, we will go. Let's see if the restaurant is in preparation. Let's see whether the restaurant is now in preparation or not. The 100 candidates will be selected into 10 at first screening, and the 10 persons will go on to the next stage, job interview phase, and the 10 candidates will be still selected into only 3. Do you think I am the suitable candidate for the occupation? Do you think I am the suitable candidate for the profession, for the job? A suitable candidate for the job. A suitable candidate for the job. The comedian announced officially the candidacy for the mayor. Candidacy for the mayor. The comedian officially announced his candidacy for the Diet member of House of Councillors. The comedian officially announced his candidacy for the Diet member of the House of Councillors in the proportional representation system. 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 Candidacy. candidacy, 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 candidacy for mayor, candidacy for the diet member of House of Representatives or councillors, candidacy. The current mayor announced his candidacy for the next mayor, for the next election for the mayor. The current governor announced his candidacy for the election for the next governor. The current governor announced his candidacy for the governor election. The current governor announced his candidacy for the election for the next governor. Candidacy, candidacy, candidacy. Candidacy, candidacy. Candidacy, candidacy for mayor, candidacy for municipal political member, municipal councillor, candidacy for municipal councillor, candidacy for municipal councillor. Candidacy for the municipal councillors, candidacy for the mayor, candidacy for the governor, candidacy for the diet member for the House of Representatives, candidacy for the municipal councillors, municipal council, a member in the municipal council, a member in the municipal council. Candidacy, candidacy, candidacy. Candidacy. Candidacy, candidacy. Candidacy, candidacy, candidacy. Candidacy for the mayor, candidacy for the governor. The current governor announced his candidacy for the next election for the governor. The current governor skipped the candidacy for the next election for the governor. The current governor skipped the candidacy for the next election for the governor. Candidacy, 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 candidacy. The victory was owed to everybody supporting the team. The athlete said he owed the success and victory to all of the supporters. So victory is for everybody supporting him. The athlete said the victory was for everybody supporting him. Victory, winning the victory in the game. Dramatic victory of the team at the last moment. Dramatic victory of the team at the last moment. Victorious. The athlete screamed victorious shout. The athlete shouted victorious cry. Victorious cry. Victorious cry. The athlete gave off victorious cry with excitement after realizing the winning. The athlete gave a victorious cry after realizing the win. Victorious. Victorious strategy. Many students started to analyze the victorious strategy for entering the university. Victorious method of entering the university. Victorious method of succeeding in entering the university. Victorious method, victorious way, victorious cry. The student gave a victorious cry with excitement after finding his number on the result announcement. The student gave a victorious cry after finding his number on the result announcement. Victorious, 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 victorious. Victorious, 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 victorious smile, victorious alleviation from hardships. Victorious sound, victorious music, victorious parade, victorious parade, victorious parade. Victorious parade and festivals were held in the city to celebrate the win. Victorious festivals were held in the city to celebrate the win. Victorious, victorious, victorious cry, victorious festival, victorious ceremony. Victorious ceremony is going to be held in the hotel. to celebrate the win of the team. Victoria ceremony. Victoria's party is going to be held in the hotel to commemorate the win of the team. More turnout is expected during the Golden Week, so please be prepared to wait for a long time in the congestion. More turnout is expected during the Golden Week, so please be prepared to wait for a long time in the queue or congestion. Turnout. More and more turnout is expected. More turnout is expected during the Golden Week after the lift of the border measures. More turnout to the tourist spots is expected. More turnout than yesterday to the sightseeing spots is expected, anticipated, predicted. So please be prepared to wait for a long time in the queue. Voter turnout was the lowest at the election for municipal councillors. The lowest turnout was recorded at the last election for municipal councillors. The lowest voter turnout was observed at the last election for municipal councillors. Voter turnout. Thanks to the advertisement by the famous YouTuber, turnout among young people increased to a certain extent. Turnout. The lowest voters' turnout were observed at the last election for the municipal councillors. More turnout is expected in tourist spots this Golden Week. More turnout will be expected. More turnout to the tourist spots is expected. More turnout to the tourist spots is expected. So please be prepared to wait for a long time in the congestion. Turnout. The lowest turnout was observed. The more turnout to the tourist spots than last year will be expected, predicted, anticipated. I wish I could come up with as ingenious ideas as you. If only I could come up with if only I could come up with as an ingenious idea as you. If only I could come up with as ingenious a solution as you. If only I could come up with as ingenious an idea as you. I wish I could come up with as ingenious an idea as you. If I were genius, I would take advantage of my knowledge or skill for the society and help people. I wish I were as genius as you. I hope genius people will invent miracle medicines to eradicate my disease. I usually make efforts twice or three times harder than others to make up for my lack of experiences and knowledge. I usually make efforts twice or three times harder than others in order to compensate for my want of experiences. The first-hand knowledge will be deeper than that got from reading textbooks. The knowledge obtained from the first-hand experiences will be deeper than that from reading textbooks. First-hand. Do you have a first-hand experience of the job, occupation, profession? First-hand. First-hand. First-hand experience. I know that I need to stack up first-hand experiences. I know that I need to pile first-hand experiences to convince more human resources. I know that I should pile more first-hand experiences to persuade the personal department. Not many people have the first-hand experience of the occupation, of the profession. Not many people have the first-hand occupation, first-hand experiences of the occupation. I only have 2 or 3 times first-hand experience of the duty. First-hand. First-hand. Is it first-hand information from the person, or did you get it from a rumor? Is it first-hand information from the person, or rumor from others? My first-hand experience I obtained at the school lived in my current occupation. My first-hand experience I obtained from at the school worked in my current occupation. The skills and knowledges I got from the first-hand experiences at school are now working in my current occupation. First-hand. The knowledges obtained from the first-hand experiences will be deeper than those obtained by reading textbooks. It is said that the knowledges obtained from the first-hand experiences will be deeper than those from reading textbooks. First-hand. The student was scolded for possessing a snack which is prohibited to bring to the school. The kid was scolded for possessing snack and drinks, which are prohibited to bring to school. And to those possessing a smartphone, please turn it off before starting the examination. If your phone rings, you are subject to being forced to go out of the examination, and there might be the risk that you cannot take the examination again. So please be careful. Please take that in mind. Please bear that in mind. I possess the ability to be able to continue doing what I love forever. I possess the ability. I possess the ability to keep doing what I love forever. The vessel has a capacity of housing up to 500 passengers. The car has a capacity of housing 8 passengers. The car has a capacity of housing 8 passengers. The bus has a capacity of housing up to 25 people. I'd like to know the tips for overcoming difficulties. How have you overcome difficulties ever? I'd like to know your strategies or methods. How do you overcome difficulties? How do you get over difficulties, predicaments, hardships when you are faced with them, when you are confronted with them, when you face them? Do you have any tips for overcoming obstacles? Any obstacles? The obstacles on the road were disturbing the commuters from passing. The obstacles after typhoon on the road were preventing the commuters from passing. The obstacles scattered around the road after the typhoon were preventing the commuters from passing. The obstacles scattered after the typhoon on the road were preventing the commuters from passing. Overcoming obstacles is inevitable. It is must. We will always face with obstacles we have to overcome, get over, jump over, leap over. we've always confronted with, we've been confronted with obstacles, which is inevitable. We will be confronted with obstacles in our lives, which is inevitable. If it were not for water, we could not live. If it were not music, what would our life be like? What would be our life to be like? If it were not music, what would be our life like? What would our life be like? What would our life be like? Were it not for water, we could not live. Were it not for music, what would our life be like? What would our life be like? What would our life be like if it were not for music? Guess what would our life be like? 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 If it had not been for your help, the project had been fallen through. The project had fallen through. Had it not been for your support and help, my project had fallen through, definitely. Exactly. Absolutely. Without water, we couldn't live. Without water, we couldn't live. Without music, what would our life be like? Without music, I wonder how our life would be like. Without music, I wonder how our life would be like. If we had not changed our contact information before graduating from the high school, we could not get in contact with each other now. So it was a miracle meeting. If we hadn't exchanged our contact information at school before the graduation, we could not get in contact with each other now. Solid foundation, solid information, solid knowledge of everything is important. Solid friendship between them. Solid foundation is very important and essential for building a house, storehouse, and so on. Is the medicine solid or liquid or powdery? Is the medicine solid or liquid or powdery? Solid. The water solidify at 0 degrees Celsius. The water starts to melt at 1 degree Celsius. How soon does the paste start to solidify? How soon does the instant glue start to solidify? I'd like to know how soon the instant glue starts to solidify, because I'm in hurry. I want it to be solidified by 1 minute. I'm in a hurry, so I'd like to attach this plastic part to the body of the figure I don't have much time, so I'd like to know. I'd like to buy an instant glue which I can solidify, which can be solidified within 1 minute. How long does the instant glue solidify? How long does it take to the instant glue to solidify? I'm searching for an instant glue which solidify within 1 minute. I'm searching for an instant glue which can solidify within 1 minute. Solid foundation of the knowledge. Solid foundation of the martial art. Solid basic. Solid foundation of the knowledge in the field. Solid support is a feature of the company. Solid, inclusive, intensive care. Solid, firm foundation and support. Solid, careful, kind support is our feature. The company promises solid, kind, and intensive support to every customer. Solid. The negotiation for the deal entered midnight between the two nations. The negotiation for the deal entered the final phase. The negotiation of the deal entered the final phase. The company A are hoping that the contract for the deal will be signed today. The negotiation for the deal will enter the final phase at this meeting, and the company A is hoping that the idea both of the companies reach compromise will be enacted today. The negotiation for the deal will enter the final phase at today's meeting, and the company A is hoping that the idea the company A showed last month will be accepted by the company B. Many of my attempts fell through, but I learned from the lessons. Many of my attempts and challenges fell through, which made me depressed, and I felt depressed many times, which made me what I am now. But thanks to the failures, I could learn from the lessons. I can live not so as not to make the same mistakes later. And I can give some advices with my experiences to others. And this is what I got from the mistakes. I regard my mistakes as mistakes. I try to regard them as one step closer to my success, which is a good way of thinking. Some people do not regard the mistakes as mistakes. They regard them as one step closer to the success. I like the way of thinking. The tight schedule has a high risk of falling through because in congestion it is almost impossible to take a tour of all of the destinations. Without formative information, without informative information from all of you, my project would have fallen through. So I'm really grateful to all of you for the support. If it had not been for the information from all of you in this community, my project would have fallen through. So I'm really grateful to all of you for the information and support. The garbage cans are usually divided into some categories: vulnerable, non-vulnerable, plastic, and so on. The garbage cans are divided into two categories: vulnerable and non-vulnerable. The garbage cans in this store are divided into two categories: flammable and non-flammable. Non-flammable items are not allowed. Non-flammable items are allowed to bring into the cabin. Thank you for your cooperation. Non-flammable items are allowed to bring in the cabin for safety. No flammable items are allowed to bring into the cabin. No flammable items are allowed to bring into the cabin. Flammable. No flammable items are not allowed to bring to cabin. Thank you for your cooperation. No flammable items to the cabin are not allowed. No flammable items into the cabin are not allowed. No flammable items into the cabin are not allowed. Flammable. To my surprise, the airline upgraded my seat from economy to first class cabin. Have you ever stayed in a hotel called first class cabin? Since there was no vacant economy class seats in the ferry, I was obliged to stay in the second class cabin. And since there was no vacant seat in the economy class in the ferry, so I was compelled to stay in a second class cabin. I was compelled to stay in a second class cabin. I was compelled to stay in a second class cabin. I was compelled to stay in a second class cabin. Cabin. First class cabin. Second class cabin. Business class cabin. Economy class cabin. I usually take economy class cabin. Sometimes I take a business class cabin. I often faced the flight delay. So I'm used to waiting extra time at the airport because the delay often happens in the airport. I ordered many snacks and meals during my flight to United States. During my flight to United Kingdom, I ordered many meals to kill time. It often happens that the festival is cancelled or postponed or put off on account of rain. On account of inclement weather, the flight has been cancelled. The express train to Shin Osaka has been suspended on account of natural disaster. Public transportations have been suspended due to the earthquake, on account of earthquake, owing to earthquake. I'm so sensitive even to minor contact. My skin is so sensitive to even minor contact with an object. My skin is so sensitive enough to feel alert to minor contact with anything, because I have allergy. My skin is very sensitive to even minor contact with anything. Plunging into the river is prohibited, but I watched some baseball fans plunging into the river after the championship. Plunging into the river is prohibited, but I sometimes I remember watching some baseball fans, plunging into the river to commemorate the winning championship of the baseball tournament. Please do not touch an unidentified object. It might blow up. Please keep out. Please stay away from the unidentified object. Please keep away. Please stay away from. Please stay away from. Please stay away from. Please keep away from the unidentified object. It might be explode. It might blow up. It might be explosive. It might be explosive. It looks explosive. An explosive looking unidentified object was found in the toilet. An explosive looking unidentified object was found. An unidentified explosive looking object was found. An unidentified explosive looking object was found. Unidentified explosive looking object was found. Unidentified An unidentified explosive-looking object was found in the toilet. Please do not touch or approach the unidentified object. The unidentified object, said the police officers. Please do not touch and approach the unidentified object, said the police officers. It might blow up. The undealt bomb was dealt with in the ocean by the self-defense forces. The undealt bomb was dealt with in the ocean safely by the self-defense forces. The undealt bomb was dealt with in the ocean safely by self-defense forces. The undealt bomb was blown up in the ocean safely by the self-defense forces. My anger blew up with the crude comment, disrespectful comment from the opponent. The anger of the boxer blew up with the disrespectful comment from the opponent. The strong wind from the typhoon blew off many objects outside. The strong wind from by the typhoon blew off even the storehouse. The explosive object is about to explode. The unidentified object is about to explode. It's about to blow up. The unidentified object is on the verge of explosion, on the verge of blowing up. I saw a tiger plunging over the fence. I saw horses plunging over the fence. I saw many cute dogs plunging over the fences in the show. I saw a tiger plunging through the circle in the circus show. Do you like plunging into the pool from the stand, from the ladder, from the podium, or from the stand? Do you like plunging into the swimming pool from the stand? Are you courageous enough to plunge to the swimming pool from the stand? Are you brave enough to plunge to the swimming pool from the stand? Are you brave enough to plunge to the swimming pool from the stand in the swimming facility? Are you courageous enough to plunge to the swimming pool from the stand? How many people are there on board? Can I use internet on board? Can I use internet on board? It's unbelievable that I can use the internet on board now. It was unbelievable. It is unbelievable. It is unbelievable for me. Incredible, unbelievable for me. I wonder the Wi-Fi affect the machines used for the plane or other public transportations. I'm already on board. Where are you now? I'm already on board. Let's meet at the next stop. I'm already on board the bus. I'm already on board the bus. So see you at the station. According to the schedule, I will arrive at Narita Airport at 12 o'clock. See you there. But considering the traffic congestion, it will take more. I will message you when I approach the airport, judging from the scenery. Some refugees are still left on board. Some refugees are still left on board. The rescuers are rescuing refugees left on board. The rescuers headed for the ferry to rescue the refugees on board. The rescuers headed for the ferry without gas in order to help the refugees left on board. Please make sure that there are nothing you have left on board, because recently passengers are leaving many things on board. So please check that again. Thank you for your cooperation. Please make sure that you don't leave anything on board. So please check overhead compartment, the space under the seat and around you again. Thank you for your cooperation. Please make sure that you don't leave any belongings on board. Recently, many passengers are leaving their belongings on board, so please check overhead compartment, the space under the seat and around you. Thank you for your cooperation. Excuse me, is there a kiosk or a small store, a small shop where we can buy some snacks or drinks on board? Yes, there is one, but the operation hour is from 9 a.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. So if you take the ferry before or after the time, the store is closed, the shop is closed. Please bear that in mind. Please keep that in mind. Excuse me, is there a kind of kiosk on board? On board. Yes, there is one, but the business hour is from 9 o'clock a.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. So if you take the ferry before and after the time, the shop is closed. Please bear that in mind. Please keep that in mind. Okay, thank you very much. I'm already on board the ferry. I'm already on board the bus. I'm already on board the train. Where are you now? It's only 5 minutes left, so it's almost impossible for you to take this train. So you should take the next one. Is there in time for it will be still in time for the lecture if you take the next train. So be hurry. About 20 passengers are on board. About 20 passengers are on board the bus. Only me was on board the bus. So it was like the bus was only for me. Okay, I will finish speaking here. Thank you for watching. See you next time. See you.